don't judge yourself in the daily, judge yourself in the yearly, and slow it down, be patient. I enjoyed paying my dues. I loved when I was 28 on December 9th, working a register because it was busy in the store, and having my friends from college come to the store in their BMW because they worked on Wall Street, and they're buying a case of wine, and they're like looking dead in my face, and I know what they're thinking, which is they just pulled up into my store in their BMW, and I'm the help going downstairs to pick up their case of champagne. I enjoyed those moments because I knew exactly how it was going to play out. For me, happiness is being able to do what you want to do at all times.
So not conforming, like say not pandering, yeah.
Just being able to do what you want to do. I mean, who wouldn't want that? And I think that is one of the great things about entrepreneurship. The cost of that is you're always 1 second away from dying, right? Entrepreneurship is scary. Like 1 second you're the top of the world, the next thing, you know, like there is nobody behind you. You're the last line. It's like fighting a war, just you. You're the last. This is the castle, you. Everybody's been fighting, you. So that's lonely, that's scary, but you get to define it. You get to tell what where they positioned and how they should fight it. And so I love that feeling. I love being in that place. Loving what you do is so, you know, people hear that and it's, you know, even when I was a kid, I was like, oh, the boat, like, you know, it's very fluffy, but it's very true. Like being happy in what you do, and whether that's making $45,000 a year or $4 million a year, if you really love it and you're really doing what you want to be doing, that's a very, very good place to be. You're just going to be happy. And I genuinely do think we have a major branding issue on success, and I mean across 7.7 billion people. Every part of the world, and I'm very passionate about being one of the voices that tries to redefine it, because I'm unbelievably not driven by money, unbelievably. I spent the first 12 years of my life building a family business from a $3 to a $60 million business for my parents, and left at 34 years old with nothing to my name. Then started a company with my brother who was coming out of college and made him a 50-50 partner, and then he left 4 years later, and I spent tens of millions of dollars to buy him out. Like, money does not drive me. The game. I'm unbelievably in tune with the fact that it's almost impossible to become a human being, and I have no interest for taking that for granted. I love when analytical people, so when I have a very deeply math kid in front of me and we're having some sort of debate and they're upset about something, I'm like, you do know the odds of being a human being are 400 trillion to 1, right? Like, I think that what drives me is an unbelievably clear perspective to how lucky we are to have an at-bat, and I'm struggling to dwell on dumb shit. As long as 8 people that I love more than life are alive that morning, I'm in good spirits. I really am. Yeah. You know, like, look, I think adversity and humble beginnings is an incredibly good framework to happiness if you layer positivity and optimism around your difficulty. A lot of times people look at their difficulty and dwell and go the other way. So for me, I'm excited every day because I get to play. And yes, I love competing, but I love competing more than I love the game more than the trophy that the game gives me. And that is also another happy part. But I have my perspective in check, I really do. And I don't just say it, I live it. And what's really fun for me is that I'm a little bit older when this has all happened, so I have a lot of people in my life who've known me long before I ever made one single piece of content on the internet in the wine world, let alone what it's manifested into. And it's funny, when once in a blue moon, if some things fester and it, you know, there's a little bit of pushback against me, it's really fun to see like grammar school and high school and college and early wine people jump in and be like, this is who we fucking, you think this is somebody else, this is who this dude was when nobody was watching, you know? I've always been very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. You should always be doing what you want.
And even if nobody responds to it, like you should just...
You don't know yet. Not at first. Like, to your point, If you do something for a year and a half and nobody gives a fuck, now you're delusional. But notice that I'm giving you an answer based on where you're at now. If you don't have a podcast yet, you should start with what you love. Because the only way you're gonna do something hard enough is if you love it. You know? So you start with something you love, you do it for a year, you feel it out, and you know, if you're now into year 2 and nobody still is, now it's, you know, people always, the hardest question to ask is when should you double down on staying the course and persevering, or when should you bail and shut it down? You never really, like I can never answer that question. There's too much I need to know to answer that question, but in the beginning point, it's very easy for me to answer. Do something you fucking love, because if you're doing something you think will do well, you're now already in a place where it's gonna be hard for you to make the content. You're not passionate about it. You got so many other shit. You're gonna choose what else is better or easier. Like, you know, it's hard to get going around something you don't feel great about. You're just doing it for what? For the listens, for the subscribes, for what? I mean, I'm so passionately trying to get people to realize happy is better than money. I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about this. It's a very important conversation that we have to. If we want to really, really, really change shit, we have to redefine what success looks like. It is just not how many subscribers you have. It is not how much money you make. It's just not. And people are pandering to the machines, the algorithms, the subscriptions, and ultimately why? For the money, right? You're gonna pander for the subscriptions and for the likes because that leads to the brand deals, the money, and this is like something that I think we need to talk about. It's something, we're now mature enough in this ecosystem that it's time for us to now have more thoughtful conversations. We have to start having this conversation.
I know it's all about like what you do after full-time work and all that, but do you feel like, is that too much? The balance between creating my own content.
Are you able to afford not doing your job?
Because my side business is not like up yet, and my content is not up yet.
Can you control your expenses?
I can.
I mean, that's, you know, it's a very practical answer. Like, I get that one would want to, you know, you got it nailed down. It is after your job. Obviously, you'd love to not have to do your job. You've only got 2 options. Wait till your side hustles get to enough that you can leave your job, or leave your job and live way more humbly with roommates or back home or whatever the hell it is. Those are the only 2 real options.
So you won't suggest like doing 3 at the same time?
Yeah, I think 3 at the same time is fine. I don't think you're stretched too thin or doing too many things. I think that that's great if you can maintain it, as long as you don't mentally burn out. Yeah. Okay. And even if, by the way, do 3 things, burn out, and drop 1.
Drop 1.
You know what I mean? Like, what works today doesn't have to be what works tomorrow.
Right.
This is one big game of self-awareness. It's not how I want it, it's not how you want it, it's how you need it for yourself. You just need to keep asking yourself, what do you need? And what you need today is different than what you're gonna need tomorrow, and is different than what you needed yesterday. This is a forever evolving thing. Evolve to what feels right today, not what you think it should be.
Great stuff.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
So Gary, if there's one thing you want to tell every creative out there that's struggling now, that's trying to like get up to their career, what would that one thing be?
It takes years of great creative work to get to that place. Like, stop judging yourself. Just because this one video didn't get as many views or not as many likes. Don't judge yourself in the daily. Judge yourself in the yearly. And slow it down. Be patient.
Be patient. I love that. Thank you so much.
Is there any time when you ever feel like, how do you deal with this sadness? Just once in your life, like one time?
I mean, I struggled when I was a kid because I hated school. But since I've been a grown-up, not really. And I'll tell you why. Anytime I start getting sad, I get sad like anybody else. I immediately put things in perspective.
Put things in perspective.
And here's what I do. Like,
Context.
Like, just because this business thing, or just because these people said this thing about me, what would happen if my mom died today?
One thing you want to talk to the women out there.
Bye, guys.
The women out there, what are you going to say?
Listen,
hustling right now.
Listen, I have so much respect because you guys deal with so many extra dynamics that dudes don't. So I would say, keep persevering. You've got this.
Thank you so much, Gary.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. The one that is just really, really, really big for me right now is how many kids don't want to do what their parents want them to do, but aren't willing to pay the sacrifices to do what they want to do.
But they don't know, Gary. Like
they do.
They don't know.
They do. They don't want to pay the price.
They don't want to pay the price.
They still want their parents to pay for their rent.
Oh yeah.
They still want their parents to pay for their Uber. They still want, like, they think that they're in control of what their parents are willing to. When you want something from somebody, you're not in control of what they give.
Yeah, like when you live at home, you live under their rules.
My big thing that always makes me laugh is like there was this kid the other day that got really upset with me, and like really upset with me during a Q&A because I wouldn't invest in his company. And finally I said to him, like, it was really actually like a scene, and I was like, bro, you're asking. Like, he was mad at me. I'm like, I'm not asking you for anything. And that's like when you're asking for something, you don't have the leverage. Like, period. Like, you don't want to go to college, you don't have to go to college. You don't want to be a doctor, you don't have to go be a doctor, right? But that also means that if that's what your parents want and that's what they're willing to pay for, you can't be like, hey mom, you know how you're gonna give me $80,000 to go be a doctor? That's what you want? Well, I don't want that. I want to be a painter, so give me that $80,000. That's not how it works. Yeah. You have to leave that on the table. That money, that infrastructure comes with that ambition. Like, if you want that safety and that money, well, that means you're gonna be a lawyer. If you wanna be a fucking motorcycle racer, that means you're gonna live in a studio apartment with 19 friends. People ask the dumbest shit. This kid the other day is like, GaryVee, but how do you do this in the Bay Area? It's so expensive. I'm like, you move, dick. You don't live in the Bay Area.
You have a choice.
People are like, Gary, what the fuck? Like, you're trying to pay $14 an hour? How do you survive in New York City? I'm like, you live in Queens and you take, like you can do anything.
Mm-hmm. You have options.
People aren't willing to sacrifice for what they want. Mm-hmm. This is why I jump on, they don't know. They know. People don't want to deal with the truth. There's two things I do. I keep it basic and I go right at it. Baby. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
My question actually isn't for me, it's for my son. He's 10. His name's Giovanni.
Giovanni?
He wants to be a Twitch streamer.
Sounds right.
He struggles with confidence. So I'm wondering if you can give him a few words of what he can do, what type of action he can take day to build his confidence.
Giovanni, I think the question, I see we're recording this. Look, when you're 10 years old, confidence is a very funny thing. You're still forming as a human, but the reality is if you're twitching and you're over responding to how many subscribers you have or what your friends in school are saying, you're not going to be able to be successful. And so you're lucky, Giovanni, to be able to start this process now, not when you're 45 years old. The quicker you get comfortable with judgment of others, the more likely you'll be successful long term. The way to get your confidence up is to start enjoying the pushback, is to start enjoying people say that you can't, is to start enjoying the judgment of others who don't understand. If you're not comfortable in your own framework, you'll never succeed.
Thanks, Gary.
You got that. Love you guys. I gotta catch my flight, but I love you. Thank you for coming. Love you back. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, early.
Love it.
Great energy in there.
Yeah, it was.
Really good energy.
Really good, really good.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
See you in Sydney.
Can't wait. Thank you so much.
You need water?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you. Dude, I'm so fired up about this.
It's so nice.
You know what this is?
Jet sweater.
You know what it is?
Do you know what it is?
No.
This is a replication of the single thing that I value the most in the entire universe.
What?
When I was 7 years old and we moved to New Jersey and I became a Jets fan, my friends had jerseys. And I came home one day and I said, Mom, everybody has a jersey, I want one. And we couldn't afford to buy a $20 jersey. So a week later, my mom knitted me one.
Are you kidding?
This is the exact thing she knitted. This is exactly what it looks like, with my name on the back. And the reason I do 5 is because 5 was my favorite number, even as that little of a kid. And that's what this is. This is exact.
I know that part, but I didn't know the part about the replica of the sweater.
So cool.
That's so thoughtful.
I can't wait to wear this. Like, can't wait. Like, hope it's super cold in New York next week. Too much overthinking in the system. That was the theme of the keynote. Great trip in KL. Malaysia, I love you. Singapore, thank you for your time. D-Rock, thank you for your support. Leave a comment, subscribe, or D-Rock will cry. Steve, you gonna leave a comment in this vlog? Oh, I don't mean on camera, I mean in the comment section on YouTube. What should we name this character?
What do you mean?
Ivy.
Ivy.
Bro, kind of a sneaker commercial, you know? That's the finger piece. Isn't that me?